Hello, 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 TaylorMade Best Life community. I am coming to you live on what is today, November 6th at 5 p.m. If you are watching this by replay, please comment replay so that I can see who in our group has viewed this and I can say hey and engage with you. I love doing that. So, what I'm going to talk to you tonight about is the F word. So the F word, and we are going to take part in something that is now going to be known as the F word challenge. So before I get into that though, let me go ahead and introduce myself. If you're new to this community, go ahead and type in the comments new. So if you've joined in the last, say, week or two, I want you to type new in the comments and we can all welcome you in and say hi. This community, well, let me start by introducing myself and then tell you a little bit about our community. So my name's Ashley Salmadani. For those of you who are new to me, if you're in this group, you know who I am. But I always like to kind of give you the little me in a nutshell. I'm a wife. I'm a full-time stay-at-home / work-at-home mom. And my mission here with this group is really to empower and inspire other women along with myself, because half the time the things I'm saying are things that I really need to preach to myself. I want to inspire, empower women in this group to really live out their full potential and purpose and to get rid of those mind roadblocks and those things that just hold us back from being the best versions of ourselves. So that's hence the TaylorMade Best Life. That can be living your best life, can be spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, financial, all of those things. And so week by week, we just tackle kind of one or two new things that can be roadblocks to living our best life. And the roadblock that I want to talk to you tonight about is forgiveness. And so we're going to talk a little bit about forgiveness, and then I am going to initiate what will now be known as the F word challenge. Okay, so we're going to use the hashtag F word challenge. And I really want you all to participate in this with me, because it's something that was really convicting for me this week. And so I want to just share from the heart. I have a few bullet points. I usually, if you've seen my lives before, you know I usually have like copious notes because I have a terrible short-term memory. But I just took a couple of bullet points because I really just want to speak from the heart, because this is something that has definitely been on my mind. And so hopefully it will resonate with someone in this group. I'm going to give the I don't know, the caveat, or just tell you up front, I know I'm not saying anything like revolutionary here with what I'm about to say, but you know those simple concepts like grace and forgiveness and hope and things that we're like, oh yeah, pay lip service to, like forgiveness is a good concept, sure. But I'm 35 and I was just reconvicted about the unforgiveness in my own life and just this whole concept anew. So for some of you, you might watch this and you're like, Ashley, come on, like this is like the most basic thing you've ever talked to us about. But maybe you're like me and you just need a little reminder about the power in asking for forgiveness and giving forgiveness. I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about that and then tell you what the challenge is. Okay. Hey, Amber. Hey, Jennifer. Yeah, if you ladies hop on tonight, say hi. If you're watching replay, again, say replay. All right. So how I was inspired to share this with you is really through a friend of mine and her asking me for forgiveness this week. And I'm going to tell you, just not in detail or anything, but I want to tell you about this particular instance because it really truly it inspired me and it really convicted me. So I had a friend of mine reach out and she sent me a message, and she was essentially apologizing for a misunderstanding. She misunderstood my motives in something that I did. If you've ever had someone misunderstand your motives and maybe even act out of that, if you've ever had that happen to you, I want you to put a raised hand emoji in the comments. If you've had someone kind of act in a way toward you or about you or say something about you because they misunderstood your motives, raised hand emoji. So that's what happened in this situation. And I honestly didn't even really know that that occurred. But this friend of mine reached out to me and she basically called her own self out and she apologized. And I just was floored with really gratitude that she did that, because it did a couple of things. One, it made me feel really good. It was like, wow, okay, if you did feel that way, then it's really great that she apologized, but really more than that, it was that I really felt like by her taking the courage to apologize, it made me realize how I have that lack of courage, because there are people that I probably need to apologize to for things that I haven't. And so I was reading this quote the other day, and it says it takes a strong person to say they're sorry and an even stronger person to forgive. And in this instance, I almost felt like it was quite the opposite. I really truly, it stood out to me as such a class act for someone to admit something that was wrong in their own thinking when they didn't need to do it. So I just really, my hat is off to this friend of mine, because she humbled herself and she asked for an apology that she didn't need to do. So, and then it was a blessing to me to be able to say, yeah, it's cool. We're totally cool. There really wasn't ever an issue, and there's definitely not now. So it just gave this feeling of goodwill, reconnecting, and all of those good things. And it just reminded me, and it got me really thinking about forgiveness. So that's kind of where this all came from. Okay, so I really shared a little bit more about that than I really was intending to, but okay, so do I want to talk about giving forgiveness or asking for forgiveness? Okay, so let's start with giving forgiveness. So first of all, just from a selfish standpoint, when someone asks for our forgiveness and we give that to them, or we accept their apology, it makes us feel good. I know sometimes what happens is when someone asks for our forgiveness or they apologize, we don't want it. We have this feeling of resistance, like, no, I'm not gonna, you don't deserve me to, give you my forgiveness. You don't deserve me to accept my apology. But really, what is that doing? All that's doing by holding on to the grudge or holding on to those ill feelings, who is that affecting? Ourselves, right? Like that's causing us to have negative vibes in our hearts, in our souls, in our worlds. And that's really on us. I love that quote. If you're unhappy, it's on you. If you're feeling, icky, it's on you. It's up to us to not only give someone else forgiveness, but really beyond that, because for me, out of my faith, I do feel like I'm called to forgive, because I have been forgiven of everything I've ever done and will do. But even if you don't share the same faith as I do, from a selfish standpoint, giving forgiveness and letting go of grudges and blessing and releasing feels good. It helps you to live your best life and be free of things that hold you back. So giving forgiveness is something that is not always easy. I don't know. Let's take a poll. Okay. Giving forgiveness or asking for forgiveness? Giving forgiveness is a number one. Asking for forgiveness is number two. Which is harder for you? Is it giving forgiveness to someone else who's wronged you, whether they ask for it or not? Or is it asking for it? So number one, if it's giving, that's harder for you, or number two, if it's asking for it. Both of those things, if you can do both of those things, it's magic. It's like a magic release button on negativity in your life. Okay, so now let's talk about asking for, no, I missed a point I wanted to share. So giving forgiveness. What if there's something that's been done to you, a perceived wrong or a real wrong or whatever, but it's something that made you feel bad and made you feel uncomfortable or wronged or whatever it might be? What if someone doesn't ask for forgiveness? Because let's be honest, like there's lots of times when people don't even realize they hurt us, or it's not a big deal to them, but it is to us, and they're not ever going to apologize or ask for forgiveness. But yet we, myself included, sometimes hold on to those things for years. And I can personally speak to this. I think there's been times in my life when I felt like someone should apologize to me, and I was kind of just waiting for this apology that was never going to come and never did come. But I spent all of that time before I just blessed and released that out into the universe, feeling crappy inside. The other person didn't even know what they did. The other person's going on with their happy life, and there's me or you not living our best life, not living our most, released life is not the word I'm looking for, but if someone else can come up with a better term, let me know in the comments. But really, giving forgiveness even to people who don't ask for it, just within your heart, really is such a key to living your best life. We can talk in this group all day long about financial wellness, health, the things you eat. But really, if you're harboring in your deepest pit of your heart, in your deepest pit of your soul, you're harboring feelings of unforgiveness, you're not going to be able to be at full capacity. Let's just say that in any area, because that's such a bind. It's something that holds us back. So giving forgiveness, it's something that I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge myself, and I'm going to challenge you to something specific with giving forgiveness. But what about asking forgiveness? So this is a hard one. And depending on your personality, if you're like me, giving forgiveness is not that difficult. And I think some of that comes out of my faith and knowing all the crappy things I've done. Like, I've done some really crappy things. I've hurt people, not always intentionally, but I've done things that just aren't good things, but I've been forgiven for that. And I've been given grace by God and by so many people that, for me, forgiving others and knowing how that also selfishly makes me feel is easy. Asking for forgiveness, on the other hand, for me is really difficult. So are you a number 2 as well? If you are, drop a number 2. If asking for forgiveness is more difficult. And maybe this is why my conversation with that friend of mine so impressed me, because it really convicted me to say, Ashley, would you do that? Would you humble yourself if you know that your thinking and your actions towards someone were wrong, even if it was small? Would you humble yourself and ask for forgiveness? And I honestly had a question mark there. I'm like, wow, I don't know. Like, so there came up with this challenge, which I'm about to tell you. So anyway, asking for forgiveness. So here's the thing. I think we all have at least, unless you're perfect, and I know I'm not, so I think we all have at least one situation in our lives where we've done something to someone else. This could be 10 years ago, but we've done something that, every once in a while, every year or two, you're laying in bed at night and it pops into your mind. You're like, man, I feel bad about that. I should not have said that. I should not have done that. I should not have thought that about that person. But how often do we suck it up, buttercup, humble ourselves and ask for forgiveness and admit the wrong that we did? And I'm not talking about like a 12-step program, like full inventory of all these little things, but I know you have that one thing, or that 1, 2, or 3 things that come to mind. I know I do. And it may even be with someone really close to you. It might be with your spouse. It might be with your child. It might be with, a coworker. It could be, it could be any number of things. But asking for forgiveness is so powerful. It really does just release that burden of guilt that we may feel for what we did to someone else. So the forgiveness challenge, the F word challenge. So hashtag F word challenge. Here it is. And this is what I'm going to do. I haven't done it yet because I wanted to get this out there as an accountability piece. The F word challenge, number 1. So there's 2 parts to this challenge. I would challenge you all to, number 1, reach out and ask forgiveness of someone else and be that humble person. So do we want to like bring up something that's going to cause someone else pain and admit something that they don't know we did? Probably not. I'm not really advising that. But I want you to reach out and ask someone, just either ask them for forgiveness or apologize for something. And this could be something so small, but I bet you it will release you, and it will also bring a good positive feeling to that person. So I challenge you to do that. That's number 1. And then number 2, I challenge you to intentionally choose one, and maybe you have none. And if you have none, that is awesome. That's goals, right? No harbored negative feelings or unforgiveness in your heart. But if you have one, I want you to try and challenge yourself in this F word challenge to intentionally release and forgive that person, whether or not they've asked for it. If they've asked for it, tell them you forgive them. If they haven't asked for it, forgive them in your heart, bless, release, and move on. Now, does that mean that things go back to the way that they were before the wrong or whatever happened? Absolutely not. You can absolutely change your boundaries. You can change your behaviors with individuals that you are that have wronged you. that you're forgiving, you can change your boundaries. It's not just forgive and forget. It's forgive and remember and change your boundaries if need be. But holding on to not forgiving and not accepting apologies and all those things is only going to hurt us. So my challenge for you is, again, reach out and ask someone for forgiveness if there's something that keeps you up at night sometimes. And number two, choose to intentionally forgive, accept an apology, release, change your boundaries if needed, and move forward. And I promise you, if you do one or both of those things, you're going to feel good. You're going to be closer toward your best self. If you're holding on to those things, there's no way you can tell me you're your best self. And I'm speaking to myself too. I need to go and do this tonight. So if you take the F word challenge, I want you to, this is a little bit bold, but sometimes cool things come out of our comfort zones. If you do this challenge and you're up for like posting about, not using names, but just saying, I did something really cool tonight, and you want to challenge someone else to do the challenge, post about it on your social media and use the F word challenge, or just F word challenge, okay? And then first of all, I'll be able to see the hashtag and I'll be so proud of you. But second of all, you might inspire someone else to go out and bless and release and or ask for forgiveness themselves and lead more toward their best life. So anyway, you guys, I just wanted to share that with all of you. That's all I have for you today. And I know I have not been as consistent as I want to be with going live in this group and giving you all valuable content, but I am going to try and do that a lot more. Tomorrow, if you are at all interested, I know for several people in this group have been really interested in the new business partnership that I have going on. Tomorrow on my personal page, I'm actually going to go live and give a little bit more of kind of like a sneak peek inside look into what I've got going on in that area of online business. So if that's something that interests you or we've chatted about that, make sure that you tune in tomorrow. I'll probably go live on my personal page. I would say, oh gosh, I don't know. I would say about the same time, 5 or 5:30. So if you're interested at all, make sure that you jump over there. I think most of us in this group are already Facebook friends. If you're not, just send me a request and we'll connect tomorrow. But anyway, if you take that challenge, let me know. I want to remind you all in this community, if you have things that you want to share, anything to do with things that are making you feel like you are inspired, or you're changing, you're growing, your mindset is more positive, it's raising your vibes, share in this group. It can be a quote, it can be a question, it can really be anything, but I want us to engage. I want you all to feel comfortable sharing what's moving in your heart and how you are working to become your best self, because my thoughts are not always going to resonate with everyone, but there's a lot of amazing heart-centered women in this group, and the more we can share, the more value we can share together, the better we're all going to be for it. So I'm thankful to each and every one of you who are here in this group, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed night. Okay, bye.